following the recent back and forth between the ex-head of state, Ibrahim Babangida, and President Buhari over the statement the ex-president allegedly issued. The Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, has, however, declared the former military president, a spokesman, Kazim Afegbua, wanted over the statement he issued on his behalf. He ordered the arrest of Afegbua for making false statements, defamation of character, and for an act capable of instigating public disturbance. What are your thoughts on this? Right.
That Babangida prides himself as the only military president.
Yes.
He wasn't a head of state.
So when I read the allegations, false statement, defamation of character, and public disturbance, and I went back to the speech that I read, and I'm thinking, okay, when you say it was false statement, Babangida has said, I said it. Defamation of character. Whose character was defamed, please? Somebody should explain to me.
He is even saying that IBB, the people around IBB, are the people who were saying...
Getted the second letter.
The second letter that IBB has access to Buhari.
Right.
In fact, so
even I read this day. Yes, this is this day's yesterday. I mean, for those who read, this is yesterday's this day, and they were very specific that IBB speaks to this day, affirms statement, says Nigeria needs new breed of leaders. And going by the second statement, said Babangida said the second statement was issued by friends and had nothing to do with him, but expressed concern that the initial statement that was issued by Mr. Kazim Afegbua had been misrepresented by the media. The misrepresentation that he meant is that he was emphatic that his statement did not counsel Buhari not to contest the 2019 elections as depicted by the media, but actually he has liberty to do so. Just that we should actually create room for the new leaders.
So the first press release was not saying you cannot.
Yes.
Was just advising that Nigeria needs a new breed
of leaders.
So it is for you to now decide, based on what I've said though, that Nigeria does not need analog anymore. What we need is digital.
Let's drop the analog and digital, because that was from the second statement. So he said that he didn't say that one, so let us drop that one.
Because he too is in the analog
breed.
Can I go from a different... Right. Because, you see, my own problem is all these people are military men. My brother has a song that he says they militarize democracy. Democracy has been militarized.
Yes.
It's militarized. Look, our former president, military man, Obasanjo. Our present president, military man, Buhari. Babangida, part and parcel of the problem of Nigeria, military man. Why do they all now feel... When they were ruling then, they did not have the solution to our problems. They now feel that they have the solution to our problems.
About
let me finish, I beg. Because this thing is paining me. They all feel they now have the solution to the problem that they created. I didn't create it. You didn't create it. They created this problem. And now they are giving advice. Who is asking them, please?
No, YK.
Not me.
Okay, you're not asking. That's a very good point. Because some people refer our former president as the oracle of Nigerian politics. And once he speaks, it comes to pass. Yes, whether we like it
you see, the way I see
not.
Nigerians is that we're looking for who to worship. You see, the way Americans like to worship their superstars, that is how we like to worship our old military dictators. When they open their mouth to speak, all of a sudden we're shaking. It's as if we do not know how to think for ourselves. There's nothing that they have said that is new.
God bless
In fact,
you.
we can go to the papers. They have seen all this. We have discussed it amongst ourselves in our homes, everywhere on the streets. So what are they saying that is new? That's making all of us shake and come to TV and be saying things left, right, and center. I really don't understand.
One more year. Because I went on my social media on, was it Sunday, and said everything that Babangida said, that Obasanjo said, go on my Facebook. In 2014, I said. But because he's now the former leader, I said they will not call Jumoke prophet or prophetess. But they will say Babangida is saying.
I was watching this morning yesterday. One of them said there is, was it this morning or was it WhatsApp, that there is significant and important.
Okay, we have derailed from our conversation.
Let me come back.
Why is the IG asking for Afegwa's arrest?
Let me come back to our conversation, which is that the presidency has warned us on hate speech.
Yes.
And because you know that nobody went after Dr. Obasanjo's spokesperson or writer or publicist because he did not deny it. But once Babangida mentioned that is not what I said though, it seemed like, oh yeah, I can't carry that man. He's hating us, he's pitching the hate.
The IG have the right to do that.
I don't think, I'm not a lawyer,
right,
but I do not think that is our priority.
Aha.
A citizen is writing based on his own opinion. What is hate in the speech that he's saying? Let us even take the second letter, that they're saying somebody is analog and somebody is digital. What is hate about that? Have you arrested herdsmen who are killing people in Nigeria? Is that our focus?
We didn't even talk about the one that they just burnt the governor's farmhouse in Vanguard. It was there now.
So why does it seem like the IGP has misplaced priority?
Right.
Also, Babangida, we come to his person. Because I think that at this time...
Don't attack the messenger, but listen to the message. Because we are so fond of going to the person.
No, but
let's take the message.
The messenger.
Yes,
excuse me. If a prostitute tells you that you should not sleep with somebody for money, will you
I will
attack the
listen to
messenger
her.
or the message?
I will listen to her.
Oh,
in this case, the IG is attacking the messenger. Is he not attacking the messenger?
That's all right. I am madam.
So,
Which messenger? Okay,
yes, now.
Is it not
He's
the messenger?
Why did you just take the speech
Message.
and move on?
Let me take Yakub. Hang it there. Yakub, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Right. Yeah. Let me begin by saying, Jumoke, you said that you have been saying this in your written in 2004, and then nobody takes it serious. They won't take it serious. You know why?
Why?
You are just a citizen. But when a former leader, in times of General Salam Abubakar, the Obasanjo of this world, the Babangida of this world, when they mention something, their statement always counts. Because you know why? All these things that we are discussing, do you know sometimes they meet somewhere and then they will say, don't mind them, they are just talking. Number two, let me tell you this. Kasim Afegwa, up to today, is he a member of APC up to today? Do you know why he's saying all those things? You see, when General Muhammadu Buhari comes to power, there is no more free for all. Then you understand? Because in terms of PDP, when PDP in the power, everybody belongs to that political party. They will see one thing and the other to lay their hand on and stop this country dry. But now, there is no free for all because the economic is not even good to that length.
Okay, so let me quickly just mention everyone that I wanted to mention. Babangida himself came out under PDP for presidency after he was a military president, so 2007, 2011. So when he's talking about analog, what was he thinking at that time? But then again, as a former military president, I agree that he was president for 8 years, so he must know a few of the problems of Nigeria, and maybe he's honestly realizing that Buhari does not have the solution.
Okay, I understand that very clearly.
Is that why she's saying attack the message?
The point is that,
not the messenger.
The point is that, listen, we can hear and bicker about the messenger and, oh, why did he do this? But you see, I think we should seize the opportunity that these ex-leaders are finally saying what we've been saying,
I agree.
And then latch onto this and get the change in 2019.
And
just say, oh, why did you keep lamenting?
Wait,
let us,
can I ask you a question?
If these guys, yes.
Do you know that we need a change?
Every human being in this country knows we need change.
Everything that was in Obasanjo's letter, did you know that it was the problem?
We all knew that.
The things that Babangida has just written,
yes.
Did you know?
Yes,
or
we
did
did.
You not
but
know?
we're saying.
So we are saying that, please, write the letter directly to who you want to write it. And leave us out of it. Stop putting us and making show with us. They are using us to make show now.
Exactly.
Okay. Let me take
you see, if we go to what Atieni says, the second letter says, I know how to reach the president if I need to reach him. I know how
That's the letter that was fake. That's what I
not fake. The thing is that it's true.
Right.
He can reach him if he needs to reach him.
Right.
Talk to him. We know what we're doing. And you know another thing that I do not like is about youth.
I don't agree with you guys.
Let's take a few
I don't agree with you guys.
Let's take a few tweets.
Okay.
Let's take a few tweets. Go ahead.
Shago says, kidnappers, thieves, headsmen, corrupt politicians, rapists are all working free, and you want to arrest Spokesman. Chigbolu says, ridiculous that Nigeria police should be issuing a warrant for the arrest rights of a citizen for expressing an opinion in a letter, be it by the former military president or by proxy? If so, why not arrest Obasanjo? Nigerian police should stop behaving like Keystone cops.
Emmanuel Okpala says the Nigerian police should not dramatize everything. You don't have to declare people wanted when you can quietly invite them. Emmanuel from Luxembourg.
Exactly. We have to move on.
See, Murayo, there are 3 different versions to this issue. When will you believe among
which one
will you believe among Abubakar Mahmoud, IBB social media aide?
Anyway,
Mohammed
I'm looking at the
Babangida?
bigger picture. Like, yes, you are right. They already know what we know, right? But we want these conversations to continue. So everybody's consciousness knows that 2019, you have to get your PVC to do exactly what we already knew to do years ago.
We have been
All right, that's all we can
every day.
That's all we can take on this. We have to take a wrap now. We have to wrap up for this segment. Is that okay? Yes. When we come back, it's Tuesday. We can't leave out health issues. We're going to talk about infectious diseases. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So, infectious diseases have been a major concern to our health sector, as most health workers are at risk of being infected by one disease or the other. It may be an unavoidable fact of life, but there are many strategies available to help us protect ourselves from infection and to treat a disease once it develops. Joining us on the show is the molecular geneticist, and a global health practitioner, Dr. Ify Aniebo. Welcome to the show, Doc.
Thank you. Before we go into infectious diseases,
what is molecular geneticist?
And she's a PhD in clinical medicine. So when you are a medical doctor with a PhD, do they call you doctor?
No, actually, I'm not a medical doctor. So I did genetics as an undergraduate course and then went on to do a PhD. So I didn't do the medical degree. It's more scientist.
So what's molecular geneticist?
So it's basically studying cells at a molecular level. So you know how diseases occur, as opposed to going into the hospital and looking at symptoms, we look at the actual cell.
Right.
Yeah, it gives us a lot of information.
Explain to us how diseases work, especially because here we have things like Lassa fever. What's the other one that is Ebola. There was one another fever that recently, some kind of
yellow fever.
Yellow fever. You know, how do these cells? How do these cells multiply and to cause these infections?
So there are different types. So Ebola is a viral disease. Lassa fever is also viral. Meningitis is bacterial. So it all depends on our lifestyles and so many other factors. So for example, Lassa fever has to do with hygiene. So you're getting that from infected rats. So people that have dirty environment, you have rats going around peeing or pooing on your, for example, your plates or food that hasn't been properly covered or stored, your cutlery, your pots. If you don't wash it before using and you have rats at home, then you might be, you might get infectious diseases from that. So it's about cleanliness mostly.
I was reading in the Vanguard this morning, I have it behind here, where the this lady said she went to the abattoir. They're complaining about the condition of the meat in the abattoirs. And this lady said she bought the meat, and when she got home, she found feces on it.
Ew.
And she took it back to the market and said, and they said, just go and wash it now.
Right.
And she said no, she doesn't want to wash it. And they took it back, after a lot of quarrel, they took it back from her.
Right.
But she knows that they will still sell it to another person.
Absolutely. That's another thing with food that we eat. In Nigeria, there's not a lot of good hygiene. So people who process the meat, people who cut the meat, people who buy the meat, they don't really make sure that there's a hygienic situation going on. And people think, oh, when you cook it, you're fine. But that doesn't happen because with parasites, they need to evolve. Some of them can actually withstand heat. So then the question is, how much heat do you apply? Right? So if you're cooking your food well done, you might be covered.
Or even while washing, you may have spread the infection into your skin.
That's another thing, because you don't even know what it is. You see what kind of infection it is. If it's Ebola, then then you're gonna get it.
Interesting you said that, because when I buy meat, I just wash it.
And think that I'm okay.
But my mother-in-law told me the other day, I said, no, put salt, and, she was really squeezing the salt. I'm wondering, you don't have to, but after she washed it, and I saw how clean.
Salt makes it cleaner.
Oh my goodness, I felt so stupid.
Salt and vinegar.
Vinegar, yes.
Yeah, so we should wash with salt and vinegar.
Especially vegetables.
Yes.
Vinegar is really good too.
Our culture, the way our markets are.
Yeah.
Fruits, meat, everything is just laid out on the floor. Do you understand? So we don't get to go to markets. Not all of us, though, get to go to markets in the malls and have them in, in shelves and things, hygienic places. So they're just laid out on the floor. What kind of advice now would you give? Nigerians, that this is our culture, this is the way we've always bought food, this is the way we've always sold food. Regular Nigerians on the road, what do we do?
I think behavioral change is, we can't keep doing things because it's our culture. I mean, it was our culture to kill twins at some point, and it's no longer our culture, so some things need to change. If we're going to eat something that goes into our bodies, it needs to be properly handled.
So does that mean things like fruits and
should
vegetables?
Be properly stored, yes.
Okay, should be but they are not. So what do I do now?
So you have to then
stop eating fruits?
No, you have to then do the vinegar thing. If I buy vegetables, then I wash it.
Yeah, I got that.
And
but
store it.
Now.
I wash my fruits in vinegar.
Pineapples. I mean, you wash your apple, but then you chew into your apple. What happens to it? Does it go into your apples and
like oranges? Oranges, we cut oranges and you buy them cut. You may use your own knife to open it. But it's the skin, because when you are sucking the orange, I can't wash that orange with vinegar or salt.
Yes. So
I wash every fruit with vinegar, including lemon. Before I cut it open, I put it in vinegar.
I don't understand what Ike is complaining about. The
oranges
we buy.
Is it enough?
No, she's talking about the ones that are already peeled.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
You buy the ones that aren't peeled.
No, she said, what's wrong with that? I buy the ones that are peeled. What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with it. You just have to wash it.
Right.
With vinegar too?
So some people have really easy stomachs. Some people are very sensitive. Some people, because if I eat anything, I could just get typhoid. That's another infectious disease that, from preparation, some people get E. coli, some people get, these things actually kill. That's the thing. But
what is E. coli?
It's a bacteria that affects vegetables and fruits and sometimes eggs.
How does it manifest in the human body?
So when it gets into your body, literally in about two hours, it propagates. It starts to divide. It's a bacteria. So you start to vomit, you start to get fever, you start to puke.
You start to stool.
Yeah, diarrhea, you feel really bad. So it's not...
Someone like me, I need even that to lose weight a bit.
Right. Okay, so Dr. Ify, today in the papers, the health minister is talking about Lassa fever now because 77 people this year. How many days in the year already we've lost 77 people to Lassa fever? Last week we were discussing how health workers are usually the first to even die.
Absolutely.
So how do we manage, ourselves based on where we are right now in Nigeria? We know what it should be, idealistic. But where we are today, what do we need to do as a people?
So I think doctors need to protect themselves. So you wear the gloves.
But they don't have them in general hospitals and things.
And unfortunately, the federal government have to. This is the people's lives are at stake. And these doctors are family. They have family members. They're not just what I'm saying. So the federal government need to allocate money, the resources for these things, for them to wear. It's basic gloves and, and the lab coat, so they get protected. Because if they're not protected, then
when it comes to... Okay,
Dr. Ify, it's good that you said federal government, but our federal government is really busy, fighting war against protocol and looking for spokespeople. But for us regular Nigerians, we can't wait for the government to finish their war on protocol. And what do we do to save ourselves? Do you understand?
From Lassa fever.
From Lassa fever. I have kids,
Yeah, I was going to go to the children part.
I'm so scared. They've got sanitizers in their bag. I wash their fruits with salt and vinegar.
The Lassa fever thing, you answer that. Okay. But in addition to that, how do we help kids to be safe? Because they always play around eating stuff on the sand. So how do we ensure? So just to mix that.
So it's just hygiene. With Lassa fever, it's just hygiene. That's washing your hands properly, making sure that your food is stored, it's not open, making sure you don't have rats at home. Rodents control.
You might have bought the gari from the market that has rats. So you will carry the gari into your house.
And cover it at home.
And then you will cover it and we cover the disease.
I just say blood of Jesus.
But that's the thing.
Blood of Jesus.
We need to know where
the food... There's nothing you can do to gari.
But we need to know where we source our foods from. That's the thing. So the person who sells food in the market is look, the person can either kill you or not. So we need to demand better from these people who sell food.
But in the short term, what do we do?
So then it's basic hygiene. That's what it is.
Right.
I mean, we have a lot of sewage around, and people don't clear dumps.
Exactly.
And
I mean, you eat bully on the side, right next to the sewage. I mean, like, so you're talking about.
Yeah.
But let's
And
kids.
for children, it's just education. We don't have to wait for them to get to like, what, 20 years old. You start to tell them from a very young age. Children are they learn, they're like sponges. Whatever it is that you tell them, they soak that up. So you start to educate them so they know, they're aware of these things.
You know, for me, I think I scare my children, and I don't want to scare them. I'm like, there's Lassa fever. My kids, I do. My kids do. I just, when I see them I scream, there's Lassa fever, and they're running home and cleaning. So
just educate them. No need to scare them. I mean, there is treatment. If you get symptoms early and you present at the hospital, there is treatment for it. So it's not like you can't treat it. So it's treatable as long as you identify it early.
And do in 6 days, I hear.
Let's go for a quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're going to be taking some phone calls on Twitter, but in the meantime, I know you're a molecular geneticist. Geneticist. Tell us what you do in Nigeria right now, because I'm pretty interested in what you do and how your expertise can help us get better.
So I work in the lab. As a molecular geneticist, I've worked in the lab for so many years, but at the moment I work in malaria research, which is what I've been doing for the past 15 years. I'm trying to develop, my dream is to develop a vaccine for malaria, but we'll see how that goes. Yes, but it's it's going to perhaps take the rest of my life.
On the way.
Yes, but for now, we need to control malaria. And of course, Nigeria has the highest prevalence of malaria in the African region, according to the World Malaria Report, which was released in 2017. So we have a malaria problem. So at the moment, what I'm doing here is trying to understand the genetic composition of the malaria parasites in Lagos State.
Okay.
And that can help us understand if parasites are resistant to drugs. So now we're getting something called drug resistance, where in places like Cambodia, the drugs are not working as they should, and we're scared that that would spread to Africa. And if that happens, it's a problem because it's the last line of ACTs, artesunate, like people drink that when they have malaria. So what I'm here to do is make sure that, we don't have drug resistance already in Nigeria, so that when people have malaria, they can take... Yes, I've been getting a lot of anecdotal, but the problem is we kind of have to do research to publish those papers, because when you go to some hospitals, people have information about the fact that, look, I've taken this medicine, it's not working. But in terms of proper research, we kind of need to document it and publish that. And I think that's where in Nigeria we need a lot of science and education in science and people in STEM. That STEM carrier in Nigeria is something that isn't very established.
Why did you come back? Why did you decide to come back? It's a good thing that you're back. But I just want to know what made you decide to come back.
Yes, because I'm very passionate about malaria and drug resistance, and I think it's best to be in Nigeria studying malaria research, doing malaria research.
You've been here 3 months. How has it been?
It's been very interesting. I love it.
Electricity?
Did you move back with your husband?
Yeah, my husband lives in Nigeria actually. But he was there and he came back, and he's been here for about 5 years, so he's more used to it. So I'm just,
I'm saying you need electricity to do your research and everything. Do you get enough? Do you get enough?
Well, generators like most people do. So.
She said, so are you working with the government? You have some
I'm working
with the government too? Sorry, with an NGO right now?
At the moment, I'm working with an NGO, yes. Okay. But NGO, actually, the NGO I work with also works with the government, state level and the federal level. So it's not an independent study. It's something that
because when Ebola came, we're really scared that we didn't have specialists to help us study this disease to see how we can curb it going forward. So it's exciting to have people like you back home.
But that's the thing, because I think I'm a weirdo in that regard, because people are saying, why are you going back to Nigeria? Nothing works there. But that's the thing, it has to be attractive for people. There's so many smart Nigerians in the UK, America, doing amazing, wonderful work, especially in sciences. But when you come to Nigeria, no one wants to be a scientist, it's not well paid, or it's not, But the government needs to also, education, STEM education.
No, they're busy protocoling and stuff. Let's take this call. Are you there?
Hello.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
My name is Solomon. I'm calling from Sokoto.
From Sokoto. Welcome to the show.
Let me ask Doctor, what is causing stomach noise?
What's what?
Causing what?
Stomach noise. Stomach noise.
Stomach noise.
Noise. When you eat, you are not eating, vibrate.
Okay.
When you eat.
I think that's overeating.
Exactly.
When your stomach vibrates.
How does stomach vibrate, for heaven's sake?
When it makes when the food drops, maybe you are hungry.
It's probably
then you
just
eat,
acid.
the stomach will do.
Okay.
It's probably just stomach
Let's
acids.
talk about the infection.
Stomach acid.
Respecting that.
But wait, let me, sorry, I know you want to ask a question, but talking about stomach acid, as you said, kids have, my tummy is paining me. What's the first aid? I always wonder what to do when my child says my tummy is. I give her apple cider vinegar. That's been helping. Yeah, with water.
In water.
In water.
A drop in water is
what's the first aid for when you have stomach
It all
upset?
depends on what the problem is. So stomach ache, have you got a fever to go with that? Have you got diarrhea? Because you can't just treat people if you don't test. That's the thing. Because children have a lot of diarrhea.
Yes, how does this affect your research now? Maybe abroad, a lot of people, when they fall ill, they go to the hospital.
Yeah.
But for us, it's better and easier for us sometimes to just go to the nearest pharmacy. Chemist. And we buy our drugs.
Yes.
And we know the story in Nigeria. We've had cases of fake drugs. So how are you able to differentiate that it's not fake drugs that you've been taking so it seems like you're resistant to...
That's going to be difficult, but I know NAFDAC has this number that you text. If you buy a medicine, I think antimalarials especially, because it's been a problem with fake antimalarials, you text them and they let you know. I've actually tried it and it works.
Okay. We're trying to change that narrative though. We want people to actually go to the hospital.
Why did you try it?
Yeah. So in the past, people go to the chemist or the pharmacy but we're saying you must go to the hospital.
But that's the thing, some people can't reach. So for example, if you live in the north, the access to the hospital, if you live in a place where there's bad roads and there's no transportation, you can't really access the hospital. So I personally think that the culture here is going to a pharmacy or chemist, and I think the chemists and pharmacists need to be integrated into the health system. I don't think we should put them away because they're part of our culture. So it's important for us to integrate them into it.
Please.
I agree, because I wanted to do malaria test. It was a pharmacy I went to first. Okpokiri Emmanuel says, "Hello ladies, please, what is genetic kinikon? Please explain." No.
Explain already.
Omogbola says, "For me, I think personal hygiene is very key to preventing all of these diseases. People, especially those who visit roadside bookers, should be extra careful in this period of widespread of communicable
I've never caught
diseases."
from a booker. I have never.
Because you're from the shrine now.
It is, let me tell you, let me tell you where I caught stomach pain. Was in a Chinese restaurant in Abeokuta.
Ewo.
Why would you eat Chinese in Abeokuta? You're not eating in Lagos. You're not going to eat Chinese in Abeokuta. What kind of rubbish is that?
Why should I not? It's my tongue.
Adekule says, this is the reason we should alkalize our body, because whether we like it or not, our body gets contact with a lot of things without ourselves knowing. Is that correct? Do you agree?
I see what he's saying with alkalize. So basically having an alkaline
base product, yes.
So like alkaline foods.
Yes.
So if you eat more greens, vegetables, more healthy eating,
your body will fight disease by itself.
You have the situation where you have good bacteria in your guts, and that helps you. Because people, some researchers think that diseases start in the guts. If you have an unhealthy gut, then you might end up being unhealthy. So I see what that's a smart team.
There's somebody talking about packaged Gary that has NAFDAC approval.
Then some Tabitha James says some people, especially children, are infected because they walk barefooted. Do you agree with that?
Infected with what exactly? I don't think
that children walk barefooted. So
if there's a cut, if they have a cut, then that obviously blood, you don't know what you're going to step into, so perhaps that could...
Okay, I know that you're working a lot on...
You have to run out, but let me
on malaria, but also, could you say anything about HIV right now? Is this something you
Oh, yes, absolutely. So Nigeria is the second country after South Africa to have the highest HIV prevalence. So it's really a problem. People aren't practicing safe sex, and
those men like that thing too much.
Why key?
I think this is a serious conversation to have, because somehow we forget that HIV.
I think we'll bring you back again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Since you're back home now.
Absolutely. No, I'm here forever.
If you don't check out,
no, when you have my hand,
Andrew, don't check out. If you don't check out,
it's just one. malaria like this, she's flying up. But you know what? We'll bring it back because we need more education on HIV. She's really correct. Nobody's talking about it. Yeah. People are just having loose sex. So we need to really talk about it because it's still here. It is still here. And it's still prevalent.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for
Dr.
having me.
And we hope that you stay.
Amen.
Do more research. Help us to cure malaria.
Yaba needs
God will give you to do. How do they? I don't have my shit.
So she's talking about Yaba Health Center.
All your research will come to pass in Jesus' name.
Amen.
That's all we can take on the show.
Like to
be part of, that's our prayer in Nigeria. To be part of our live audience show tomorrow, please come early. We're only bringing in 30 people, so come pretty early so we can be a part of the live audience. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.